What's going on, everybody? I'm your average gamer. I hope that you're all having a fantastic day, and this is part 4 of my God of War combat encounters. In this video, you'll actually get to see my preferred playstyle, which is a turn your brain off and just fight however you want, which is exactly why I prefer this armor set. For anyone that doesn't know, this is the New Game Plus Sindri set. What the chest piece does, it makes it so anytime that you use a runic attack, there's a chance that you get a protective barrier for about 3 seconds, I think, or 3.5 seconds. And again, you get 4 runic attacks, so 2 with each weapon. And if you pick the ones with the shortest amount of cooldown, you can basically chain them together and keep getting the protective barrier over and over again. Also, say all your moves are on cooldown. If you switch stances with your shield, like when you're fighting with your fist and you switch stances and pull your shield out, when you press R2, the protective barrier comes up for that as well. I don't know why, but when I found that out, it made this build even better, in my opinion. It might not be the best at dealing a lot of damage in a short amount of time, but you're attacking relentlessly. And again, you don't even have to focus. In a little bit, you'll get to see exactly why this is my favorite armor in the entire game. But right now, I'm going to let you guys listen to this part, because this is like one of my favorite cutscenes in the game.
How are we getting down there?
I have a plan.
You do?
Do not act so surprised.
Oh, no offense, brother, but I don't even think Thor with Mjolnir in hand could get through that much ice.
Then Thor is a fool.
This should be entertaining.
What was your reaction to when you first heard that? Me, I was smiling and grinning ear to ear because I thought it was super funny. Also, the reason why I like this scene a lot is because you get to see Kratos actually using his brain. Not saying he never does, not saying he's stupid or nothing, but you get to see him come up with a plan, and no matter what, he's gonna execute that plan, even if it's not to perfection. I had said this in my first video, but just in case this is your first video that you clicked on, the way I like to play this game is I don't mind taking any damage. That's my perception of Kratos anyway, is if he's able to deal a massive amount of damage, but he has to take some punishment, I feel like this is exactly what he's gonna do. To be completely honest with you, I feel like he would take a massive amount of damage just to do a little bit of punishment, because he's a psychopath. You know, this dude just wants to get his hands on you. One of the things I'd be seeing a lot of people ask is, what's the best armor in the game? You know, or what's the easiest thing to use? A lot of it's preference. If I had to give my input, this might be one of the easiest armors to use. On my opinion on what's the most overpowered, that's a tough one. You know, you could argue the Zeus one. I'm not a huge fan of the Zeus, because I'm not a huge fan of anything that doesn't have a lot of survivability, or just any survivability. So you're like, yes, you're doing a crazy amount of damage. You can get rid of everything on the battlefield in 15 seconds. But you can't be touched. You know, it's a glass ballista build. For me, one of the best armors I think the COD armor is one of the most slept on armors in the game. The armor is immensely powerful. Anything with high luck, okay? Yeah. You get anything with high luck, you get the suture grip, right? Suitor, whatever. I don't know how to say his name correctly, I guess. You get that with the blessing of the frost, okay? And you put this chest piece on, I promise you, every encounter in the game is super easy, okay? Do that and then redo the Valkyrie fights and watch how much easier it is. Yes, it's a New Game Plus. Everything about it's gonna be easier, especially since I have a lot of this overpowered stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, like, if you use those two things, okay, that's in my opinion the best thing in the game. You go around just pressing, you hold L1, you press R2, okay, you get your Blessing of the Frost activated. There's also enchantments for that, you know, to make it last longer and stuff. So yeah, as soon as you have the Blessing of the Frost, as well as the Suitor Grip, which is the axe pommel, with those things combined, you become an overpowered god. I highly recommend to try it out. I'm sure everyone already knows this, but when you use the Blessing of the Frost, you get this area of effect that shoots out this blue shard. The same thing happens with the shooter grip, but with the fire version. Combined together, they have a light of Alfheim effect, and it changes the color to like a pinkish tint, and it makes the move even better. So if nobody had tried that out, use that against some of the toughest enemies in the game, and it's on easy mode. To me, those are it's the best runic attack in the game. I can't even get words out right now because of how baffling it really is. Anyway, back to the topic of what armor is the best in the game. That is entirely opinionated. I see some people saying the Valkyrie set, and that is an amazing armor. Now, I'm not trying to burst your bubble if you're a huge fan of the armor set. I do feel as if this is way better. Only reason is because of the perks it provides, that protective barrier. You know, it cannot go unnoticed. Also, when you upgrade the Valkyrie set and you sell it, you get the enchantments for that armor. The reason I bring it up is because I believe it's the waist armor. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but the waist armor for the Valkyrie set gives you a blessing for runic attacks, which allows your runic attacks to do more damage. So when you put that on this armor set, right? You use the Hell's Touch, your L1 R1, right? And then you keep holding L1, and you press R2 for the Glaive Storm, and it will cut through everybody. And then again, you also have your Blades of Chaos to use 2 more runic attacks and get this protective barrier. My ideal version of how to play this type of build is short cooldowns. You know, you want your cooldowns up as fast as possible. You can use them as a bailout. You can use them to chain attacks together. And if you're not great at this game, this is definitely the armor to use. I promise you. I'm not saying you won't die. You probably will die. I'm not saying I don't die. I definitely do die. I'll be messing around too much. But this armor makes the game so much less demanding. This right here is the prime example of why I think, again, my opinion, right, why I feel this armor is immensely overpowered. Watch my health at the end of this encounter. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking about in the beginning of the video, about the turn your brain off and you don't have to worry about anything, right? The only thing you really kind of have to pay attention to is the protective barrier that pops up on the left side of your screen. As soon as that goes away, you basically alternate through runic attacks. And if you pay attention, as soon as I hop off this dude's back, I check to see where my cooldowns are for my Blades of Chaos, right? And then immediately swap, right? Have both of them back. I promise you, as soon as the animations were to finish with the Blades of Chaos, I would get the axe ones, yeah, the axe, sorry, the Blades of Chaos back. And then as soon as that's done, you basically pop Tailsman, which slows down time. It doesn't matter though, because like everything's gone. You know, everything's gone. And here's one of the greatest fights in the game. I wish there was more boss fights like this in this game. I absolutely loved it. It's the only really time that you actually get to fight a god other than Baldur, which is a little disappointing in a God of War game. But hey, I'm sure Ragnarok's gonna be full of surprises. Can we just take a minute and try to remember the first time seeing these people in the game? You know, you're fighting the son of Thors. On paper alone, that sounds amazing, but to pull that off in a video game, like, man, kudos. And then also now we're gonna have to like face the Wrath of Thor, which is super awesome. Like, dude, this game just makes me feel like a child. I cannot wait for Ragnarok. Ragnarok is the whole purpose I even got a PS5, because I had no idea when it was gonna come out. My guess is probably November, because they want it to be snowing outside in real life. You know, that's my predictions of it. You know, the atmosphere outside is gonna blend in with the game. The reason I say that is because after playing Miles, right, the Miles Morales game, it's kind of hard for me to play that game in the summertime because the atmosphere just isn't the same. The video is pretty much at an end. I hope everybody enjoyed at least some part of the video. If you did, you can show your support by liking and commenting down below. I love all of you. I hope to see you guys in the future videos, and I pray that you guys continue to have a fantastic day.